Clinard. And first of all, Coach, thank you so much for joining us here on today's program. You're a veteran in the game and getting ready for yet another should be compelling golf season. Number one, how is Hawaii? How's it being out there in paradise?
Well, listen, Hawaii does not suck. Hawaii's great. I mean, you kidding? I mean, it's kind of monotonous though. It's like 84 and sunny every day. But what a great opportunity to be here in the first week in February and shake some rust off and get outside and play on some green grass and go compete. So we're very blessed to be here.
Absolutely. You mentioned it, shaking some rust off. What does this stage of the season look like? As a coach that's been all the way to the national championship, you've been to the furthest heights. What does this part of the year look like for you guys as you get your guys revved up and then playing their best golf when it's necessary at the end of the year?
You know, it's just a progress. It's a progression, right? We're just trying to keep trending up, trying to get better. We're trying to make sure that every player has their blueprint, have their plan. Just keep chipping away at it. But a lot of it's just, getting outside, especially for some of our young men or freshmen that live up in northern climates, and getting outside to be able to compete and work on their golf swing a little bit and just play and have some fun too, and be together too. That connectivity on this team is phenomenal, and that's something that's very, very important to me when it comes to culture.
Coach, do you have an input on which tournaments that your guys play in? And if so, what goes into deciding where to play these tournaments?
We do as a coaching staff. I'm lucky I got two of the best assistant coaches in the country that help me. And we just try to find the best golf courses that we can, the best competition. Listen, there's so many great coaches and so many great programs and players throughout this country. And we're just blessed to have the opportunity to play one of the best schedules in the country and go out and compete. And we're trying to put our players in a position to improve and compete against the best amateurs in the world and hopefully be professional golfers. And that's their aspiration, their ambition, and we want to give them the opportunity to do that.
Of course, Jackson Koivun will steal a lot of the headlines after the year he had last season. Let's talk big picture first of all, with him, with his game. What do you see? What have you seen from the time you recruited him to where he is now and going to that next level, going into his junior season after such a phenomenal year last year, the SEC Player of the Year?
Well, he's an elite competitor. He's one of the most competitive people I've ever coached. If he has a downfall, he probably has a hard time turning it off. But listen, he takes care of his body. He's with our physical therapist, he's with our strength coach. He's taking care of himself. He's gotten bigger. He's gotten stronger. He's gotten faster. He's got a great plan. His teacher out in San Jose has been with him since he was a little kid. Fred Garcia has done a wonderful job with him. Josh Gregory's done a wonderful job with his short game and trying to improve his technical aspects of his game. And I mean, the guy he's a workhorse. He deserves everything that comes his way because of his work ethic and his elite mindset.
Coach, I follow golf pretty closely, but for some of the people that don't really follow it as closely, they know the Ryder Cup, they may know the President's Cup, but how important actually is it for one of your guys to be a member of the Walker Cup?
It's listen, anytime you have an opportunity to represent your country and the United States of America and put that flag on your chest and your golf bag, I mean, what a true honor and what a true privilege it is to do that. And, he went out there and I think he made a stake that he is the best amateur in the world. He kind of led the Walker Cup team. I think 3-1 in matches, dominated the singles. And once again, he is an elite competitor and he has an elite mind. And I've been coaching 25 years and I'd say he's the best putter I've ever coached.
Wow. That's high praise there, and obviously you've coached a lot of guys that have gone on to have massive success on the professional level. What are his projections? Where do you see him as he takes that next step going into his junior year this year? Eventually he'll turn pro next year, 27 or whenever. What do you see being the best elements of his game that he could take to the professional stage?
Well, he drives the ball great. He's a great putter. So anytime, driving the golf ball is really important on the PGA Tour. And if he drives it pretty well, then he's going to have, green lights every hole. And he's a great putter. Anything, inside 20, 25 feet, like it's going to go in every time he hits it. And, I think look at the success he's had. He's had, 4 top 11s on the PGA Tour. And, I think he's got a chance to be one of the great next American players in the game when he decides to turn pro, whenever that is.
You talked about some of those top 11 finishes, 3 top 10 finishes on the PGA Tour. How do you go about managing, PGA Tour appearances as well as playing in collegiate golf events?
Well, I think that's hard in some regards. Like obviously when you go and you're playing in the final pairing on Sunday, and and you're playing against the game's best, then you come back and you play a 36-18 event in college. It can be pretty humbling, right? But I'll say this for Jackson, like his mindset, as I mentioned, I mean, it's phenomenal, and he's just trying to get better. He doesn't play for the money; he plays for trophies, and he legitimately wants to be the best player in the world, and he's going to do everything in his power to get there, and it's going to be fun to watch his progression over the next 10, 15, 20 years.
Absolutely. Going into this season, it's not just Jackson you have on your team, but you also have Josiah Gilbert, who was recently on the Ben Hogan Award watch list. How advantageous is it for you, and as you build a team, to have two of these guys that are elite talents in the SEC going into this season? And then a little bit more about Josiah's game.
Well, they make me look better, that's for sure. I mean, great players make great coaches, right? But listen, those guys are they've really matured as human beings off the golf course, and obviously they're very talented, but they both work hard. And Josiah's, a very talented young man, and he's got a bright future ahead of him. He's fast, he's powerful, he's big and strong, and he's got 190-mile-an-hour ball speed on the golf course, and he's really developed around the greens with his game. And just watch his progression from when he enrolled in college as a freshman. Didn't even play in the lineup until April. We went on to play him throughout the postseason and won the national championship and the SEC championship. And then, he got better last year as a sophomore, and he's really got his eyes set on trying to be the best amateur in the world, and he's trying to make that Walker Cup team too. This coming fall in September, I think he's got his short-term and long-term goals are set pretty high. The bar's high.
Coach, I want to turn our attention now towards you, because I just want to get to know what got you into coaching and what's your will, so to speak.
The first thing I'll tell you, it's not about me. It's about the players. It's all about them. And I just love helping young people. I just have a lot of passion in that. I love to compete. I'm probably hyper competitive, maybe to a fault. But I did, as a player and as a junior player and as a college player at Wake Forest and as a pro when I tried to play professionally. And now, I just got into coaching because I love developing young people. And I've just been very blessed in the opportunities that I've had. And I've had way more success than I probably ever thought I would. All I do is try to help guys get better. And I love it. I'm fully invested. And if I have sometimes I can't turn it off. I'm always thinking about recruiting and always thinking about how I can get my guys better and making sure they have the right plan and how they follow that plan. And, I don't get them when they're 26, 27, 28 years old. I get them when they're 17, 18, 19, 20. And that could be probably the most challenging part.
Absolutely. I'll piggyback off that. I think you're uniquely qualified to answer this question, because I think college golf is in a really good place, but I think it's also in a very unique place. We saw a player from Ole Miss. He decided to turn pro, obviously going to the Live Tour, will forego his chance there at the Masters. What is your advice to guys that might be on the higher end of college golf that are weighing these very, very important decisions about their careers and moving forward? You dealing with a couple of elite players, seeing elite players all along. When they ask you your advice, how do you help them manage what golf is, college golf and professional golf here in 2026?
Well, first off, your first comment, you're correct. I mean, the college golf's in a great spot. Best it's ever been. We're on TV. We've got phenomenal coaches and phenomenal programs. We have athletic directors and presidents that are supporting our sport and giving us the resources to be successful. So college golf is proven to be, putting guys on the PGA Tour. And, the second part with guys leaving and I don't know. I'm an education guy. Like, I believe in education. I was brought up that way. And my parents, and I'll probably never change when it comes to that. But I also know that kids got to do what's best for them and best for their families. And some opportunities that are presented to them, it's probably hard to turn down. And I think the best way to look at things is, what would you do?
Right.
If you were put in that position, if your feet were where their feet are, what would you do? And I think that's how you have to look at things in life. But I'll say this: life isn't all about money.
Yeah.
There's a lot of unhappy people that have a lot of money, but it's also about fulfilling your dreams and just trying to be successful and trying to do the right thing and trying to be a good person. And I think it's a tough decision. Everybody's got different backgrounds and different reasons for what they do, and who's to say one's wrong and one's right? So I'm just a big lover of the game, and I want whatever's best for any young man or young lady that decides to turn pro.
And Coach, I know you're big on reading too. You hand out a specific book to all of your golfers there. I'm actually reading that book right now, so you inspired me to buy it and start reading it. But what was the message behind that? Why is reading so important for these young athletes?
Oh, I think they look at reels. I don't think they read at all. This generation doesn't. They don't. They look at reels and they look at whatever the chat stuff is, the AI stuff. I don't know. I'm 53 years old, so I think reading makes you smart, and I think reading is important. I think for us, it's not just golf, right? It's about developing these young people for life, whether it be the public sector, the private sector, whatever they get into in life, and we just want to try to educate them, and we want them to leave, an Auburn man and a better person than when they came, and hopefully that maturation process kicks in. But we do all kinds of reading. We do different books over the summer, different books over the winter, and we talk about it as a team. We get together and the guys interact, and it's just been something that I've been very proud of. I'm proud of my players for buying into that and trying to learn. Because listen, life and golf are so connected, right? Life and sports. Right, you're going to have your ups and downs and your ebbs and flows, and you're just trying to teach these guys that what may be coming their way when they're 23, 24, 25 years old.
Absolutely. I want to ask you about roster construction, because I went to Jacksonville State, home of Masters champion Danny Willett, and we covered him when he was there.
That's right.
When he was a Gamecock. We're certainly super proud of him. But the Jacksonville State program, it was interesting because it felt like there was a pipeline from England over to Jacksonville State, and it feels like a lot of coaches, especially in college golf, kind of had these pipelines, so to speak. When you go to recruit players, obviously a lot of great players in the South, a lot of great players here. Do you go to any specific region of the country or academies? How do you construct your roster? Or is it kind of a year-to-year thing?
I've had most of my success domestically, probably because I just don't know that space. I probably should. I probably need to do a better job when it comes to the international side of things. I've had some really good players from Sweden and South Africa over the years. But most of my success has been from coast to coast, California to Carolinas to the Florida and Alabama and Texas. But and I'll continue to do that, just trying to find the best players and the right fits, the ones that fit into our culture, right? That want to define our core values and our moral values, and what our standards are of the program. They got to be the right fits. Obviously, they got to have a certain skill set and a certain talent, but they need to be the right fits too, and guys that really want to improve and get better and get after it. And those are guys that typically that we like to have at Auburn.
Coach, I got to ask, how often do you get to go out and play on the golf course? And if so, what's your handicap nowadays?
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. Not very good anymore. I don't play a lot. I played, actually played in December. I got to play with BP and play with Coach Malzahn, and was texting him the other day when he retired. And, listen, I've been so blessed in this game to play with so many special people, and so many people that are influential in my coaching career and my life. But I don't play much. I actually get ready to go play, not to rub it in, but I'm getting ready to go play Augusta National coming up in a couple weeks. Wow. So that'll be my first round in 2026 coming up.
That's going to be
That's amazing. That is absolutely.
I'm just trying not to get hurt when I'm out there. I just want to make sure the next day when I wake up, I can move.
Right. You mentioned two guys that I want to talk about more from a big picture perspective. You mentioned Coach Bruce Pearl and Coach Gus Malzahn. Everybody talks about the Auburn family. For a guy that's been in it for a really long time, what is that like? Because Auburn kind of considers himself an everything school. I remember Bruce Pearl said this, like, hey, we're an everything school. As a guy that's won a national championship, you have in golf, for a team that's been to a national championship and won in football, major success in basketball as well. How tight is that Auburn family, and just how real is that quote, so to speak?
It is real and it's unique. It's hard to explain to people though until you work at Auburn, until you live in Auburn, until you have that community feel and that connectivity feel and that family feel. All the coaches get along so well. We're all in it together. I think our athletic director, John Cohen, does a wonderful job preaching that. And I think our university does a wonderful job with that too. But listen, we're a small college town, as you guys know. And, we have that family environment, that faith and family base. I think that's something that's really, really important. It's not for everybody, right? But it's something that the people that come here really, really love it. And we've been very blessed. I've been able to raise my 2 daughters in the wonderful town of Auburn, and Gus is a good friend. I wish Gus and Christy the best in retirement. They're coming back to Auburn, I believe, and I think that speaks volume for this city and community, and BP staying in Auburn, and tweeting like crazy, right? But all those guys have just been dear friends, and just been a big, even though they may not know it, they've been a big influence on my career.
And Coach, when you inevitably step away from the game, what is the legacy that you hope to leave behind?
That's a great question. I think I want my former players to all know that I love them, and I care about them, and those are in capital letters. It's not about the wins and the losses, it's about developing young people and letting them go on to be great fathers and great husbands, and obviously have success in whatever field they choose. And if we can do that as coaches, then that's a win for us.
So well said, Coach. This has been incredible. I know you want to get back out there to the 80-degree temperatures and I actually
want to get to breakfast with the guys. I'm ready to eat.
Oh, that's right. That time change is insane. Absolutely.
Forget about the weather. Everybody's good at something. I'm good at eating.
I love it, Coach. Thank you so much for your time here on Southeast Sports Plus. We'll be rooting for you along the way, and looking forward to catching up with you throughout the course of the season.
Appreciate you guys. War Eagle.